Hello, everyone, and welcome to Locked On Flames. This is the first part of a two-part series of the good, the bad, and the ugly against the Seattle Kraken last night. John hit the century mark, and the team completed a third period comeback. We cannot ignore the horrible aspects of last night's game, though. All that and more on today's episode of Locked On Flames.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jess Belmosto, host of Locked On Flames. Thank you so much for tuning in today. How are you? I hope you're having a great Wednesday. Thank you so much for making Locked On Flames your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, and we are free 99 everywhere, including YouTube. Johnny hit the century mark last night, and it was great to see Mama and Papa Hockey in the stands for the first time in over 800 days. So I had thought that they made the trip out earlier this season, but I was mistaken because that was, in fact, the road trip out east that the Flames were on. But, it was just a very special night for the Gaudreau family, and it's so nice to see how family-oriented it is and just kind of how much he appreciates the people who made sacrifices to get him to this next level. And 100 points, man, that's not something that everyone reaches. It's not an easy feat to reach. And it was a beautiful, beautiful pass on the Tkachuk goal that started the third period comeback. And I think my favorite part of last night, or one of my favorite parts, was listening to the crowd go crazy when Johnny had the puck on his stick. They knew it was bound to happen, and he made it happen. I think one of the great aspects of Johnny's game that has improved this year is his level of patience and his level of, just the thought, the hockey IQ that goes into that playmaking. And he even said himself, I've stepped it up more defensively this year. And again, this goes to show you that Darryl Sutter's system works for the Flames. And of course, Johnny fits in there perfectly. I think that it's a testament to how hard John is willing to work. He said last night that his dad was a very strict coach growing up, and his dad is a successful youth hockey coach as well. But just seeing and hearing what he knew he needed to improve. And there was a part during, I think it was like the intermission report or some part of the game where Johnny was like, yeah, like, my dad is pretty hard on me, and I know he's going to go out there, or I know he's going to tell me that I didn't play some of my best hockey in those first two periods. Like, I had a sloppy turnover in the second, and, he's aware. And I think that's something that we didn't really see last year, and not just from him, but from a lot of players. And I think that Sutter just also what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if preaches is the right word, but he really does rely on accountability. He preaches it. He believes in it. He puts it out there, and he's not afraid to tell you, like, hey, your performance on the power play today was horrific. Step it up. And he is one of the coaches who does the, what have you done for me lately? And we saw that with the practice lines today. Mangiapane gets bumped up to the first line after having his first goal in over a month, nearly a month and a half. But, I think that John has been playing just his best hockey this season. And we all kind of figured he was going to hit the 100-point mark back in, I don't even know, November, December, when he was just going on a tear, and the Flames have won 5 straight now, and I'm so happy to see him thriving and to be in a position where he is happy and just succeeding with the Flames. A lot of people have kind of waited for his downfall, and he's not doing it. And these things don't just happen because it's a contract year. You don't just get this magical power. You don't just flip on a switch because you want to get paid and all this stuff. It's so much bigger and deeper than that. It goes to show their talent level and their commitment to the game. So I need to talk about this for just like a quick second because we were talking about it on Twitter. But my favorite part of last night was during the intermission report. They played a clip of Eric Francis saying Johnny would never play this kind of hockey again. He will never even come close to hitting 99 points again. And the reaction from Eric Francis was, well, this is an old take. This is clearly old. I don't even have gray hair. And he's put in an uncomfortable position, and I don't know what he's going to say, what else he's going to say, but I just kind of wanted to say, so you agree you have like this weird beef with Johnny. And we talked about it on our bonus episode over the weekend, how the Gaudreaus like don't, pay him any mind. But I just hope that clip was brought up last night when they were all talking and whatnot. But, I'm just so happy that he has to eat his own words. And congratulations to Johnny. And I'm so happy that his parents got to be there. I believe his wife was in the stands as well. And, plenty more hockey to come in his career. And coming up next, we do need to talk about the second period and how disastrous it was. Really, the first two periods. But before we do that, let's talk about something good and scrumptious because we'll feel better. But HelloFresh is the number one meal kit in America, and if you've used it, you understand why. HelloFresh chefs really know how to diversify the menu with seasonal recipes like salmon limon pasta primavera, and you can pick your favorite dishes weekly, and you can skip weeks when you need to, change your delivery date, or update your preferences all in the HelloFresh app. I love using HelloFresh. I think that it has become a lifesaver for me. It's so nice to not have to like pretend I know what I'm cooking, and it's great when I don't feel like doing something extravagant. Everything's already portioned out. Everything is there for you. There are clear, easy directions. There's colored pictures, beautiful artistic plating. It's just great. It's just a fantastic design. But you can head on over to HelloFresh.com and see what I'm talking about. Go to HelloFresh.com/LockedOn16 and use code LockedOn16 and get up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Who doesn't love free, right? Go to HelloFresh.com/LockedOn16 and use LockedOn16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. America's number one meal kit. Thank you so much for tuning into Locked On Flames. You can follow me on Twitter at JessBelmosto. Always more than happy to have a conversation with y'all. What I'm not willing to do, though, is sit here and explain why spreading conspiracy theories is not good for an organization. If you know, you know. But follow me on Twitter at JessBelmosto. The third period performance, the performance of the third period last night does not erase the first 20 to 40 minutes of the game. Audie and I are going to be talking about this tonight in like the second half of this episode, but I cannot express how unwatchable first two periods were. I was watching in bed. I had my nice little blanket on. I was all cozy, fresh out of the shower after working out, and just felt really good. And then my clean sheets, and I'm watching this and I'm just like, oh, do I maybe want to turn this off? Like, it was really bad. And then, I only survived because I had my switch and I could just kind of look away when needed. But Ryan Donato is a fraud of an NHL player. And I really, really do not understand how you let him score that early on the game or at all. And then, you're just like, Jacob Markstrom, what are you doing? Why are you letting him score on you? He's not even that good of a player. And it was just a soft shot, too. It wasn't even like it was, some sort of crazy snipe or something. But one thing that this team has to learn is to play, or to remember, I shouldn't say learn, but to get back to is remember that you need to play the full 60 minutes. You can't just sit here and count on your opponent being trash. That was their Stanley Cup last night. Their season ends soon. They're going to hit the golf course. They're going to, have a nice long summer, nice long off season to sit down and stay rested. They don't care about anything. They've been eliminated. You still have to clinch a playoff spot. And you better hope that you're not out there playing the rest of these games like you did in 2020 and 2021. Sloppy, turnovers left and right, these giveaways. That goaltending last night that we saw from Markstrom has to have been some of the worst that we've seen in his 2 years as a Flame. I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't understand what happened and how he allowed 3 goals on 15 shots. He didn't come back out for the third. And quite honestly, I don't think he even should have started this game. I think that it should have been Vladar. And it was obvious, very obvious, that Markstrom needed another game off. And they are so lucky that they escaped with those 2 points by the skin of their teeth. It was bad and it was brutal. Like, I was watching them, and I feel like what's his name? Noah Hanifin was probably one of the most noticeable players on the ice, as well as Rasmus Anderson. I don't even think I noticed Lucic out there for a while. Like, the only reason I really noticed some of the players was because they had important milestones. That's it. Like, I obviously knew, like, the first line was out there because, they're talking about Johnny and you're watching and it's Johnny, but I feel like there wasn't much excitement to their game. There was nothing that you wanted to watch for. It was not easy to watch, and they spent way too much time in their own zone in that first period, and same with the second. And they allowed 2 goals in the second period. And at that point, it was 3-1. And everyone had just kind of been like, okay, like, we're wrapping it up. Let's go. Like, just go out there and finish, because this is embarrassing. This is humiliating even. But I don't understand how things collapsed the way that they did last night. From the get-go, I thought it was interesting that, Markstrom even started. I understand that he needs to get his reps in before the playoffs, but I also think it's important for him to be resting. And I don't understand what the Flames were doing at some points out there on the ice. Like, they were not setting themselves up in a way where they could, like, crash the net and generate hopefully successful chances. They weren't giving any of that. And it was very, very clear that Sutter was upset. And there was no way around it. So, hopefully Thursday isn't game against Vegas will be more successful. That's when they can clinch a playoff spot. They have to they had to win last night, and then I think I think the Kings have to lose today. I forget, but it's nothing that's impossible, obviously. But coming up next, we are going to talk about the comeback and just kind of wrap up the excitement and with some good news for once. And before we do that, I think this would have solved the Flames' problems early on in last night's game, and they could have used a Built Bar. Built Bar is a delicious tasting protein bar that everyone needs in their diet. They taste like a candy bar. They do not taste like a protein bar and are so flavorful. I am looking forward to our next order of the marshmallow puffs in the churro flavor. I think it is going to be so much fun to just, as someone who is trying to eat healthier, to fully commit to replacing my candy bars and junk food with Built Bars. And you can get Built Bars today for a discounted price at built.com. Promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off of your next order. Make sure that you are subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're feeling nice, leave a nice review, please. The third period was something that, is written in a Hollywood movie. You come back and everyone's hitting those milestones. Everyone's looking forward to hitting those milestones and being a good player and being a team player and celebrating with their team. But I don't know what Sutter said during intermission to this team, but I can assure you that it worked. Matthew Tkachuk scored his 36th goal of the season, and that set the tone for the frame. That was Johnny's 100th point, one goal closer to the hat trick for Matthew, and it just started rolling from there. Andrew Mangiapane scored his first goal in God knows how long, and he found the back of the net. And that's really, I had talked about it yesterday on the show, saying how bad I wanted him to score and how he needed to find his groove again after that rut. And it does make me curious to see, because it did come on there was a line shuffling there. I believe he was on the top line when he scored. So it does make you wonder if that's why he's at practice, or he was on the top line in practice today. Top line Mangiapane is, I'll take it. I think he is an excellent two-way forward who can replicate what Matthew Tkachuk gives you. So, it was great to see that. And then, of course, Noah Hanifin had another goal. And he had, I believe that was his 8th of the season. And he has looked so great out on the ice in the last few weeks. Him and Rasmus Andersson, like we talked about yesterday, had this late bloom. They're late bloomers this year and really striving to reach those new levels of defenseman eliteness. And someone tweeted last night, I think it was Ryan Pike, he tweeted how he forgets how young Rasmus Andersson is. And he thinks that, he will eventually get up to a Norris caliber, or Norris Trophy nominee caliber, if that makes sense. Like, he will be an elite defenseman, which I would love to see. I think last year will end up being the worst year of his career at the end of the day. I think that for a lot of players, it's probably going to end up shaping like that. And you have to figure out why. And it's very easy to look at those variables and figure out why. And the best part of the third period was, other than Johnny getting his 100th point, was Tkachuk scoring that game winner. Hanifin had the equalizer, and then everyone was kind of like, "Oh, okay, this is the real deal." And then, Tkachuk goes ahead and gets that hat trick, and then gets the game winner. And the biggest thing that was missing from the game last night showed up in the third period. Number one, your offense. Number two, the urgency and determination to win. And there was just that sense of urgency, and I can't express it. And obviously Vladar and net played a big role in that. They spent less time in their own zone, so I don't know what Sutter said. There are times when I would kill to be a fly on the wall there. Other times I would like to stay as far away from that as possible. But it ended up being a good game, and the Flames were able to walk away with 2 points. And there's no reason why you should be giving teams 2 points, especially the teams that are eliminated from the playoffs. Like, there is simply no reason for it, and I am very impressed with how the Flames ended the game. I think that it was just a testament to their strength, their willpower, their eliteness, truly. So thank you all so much for tuning in to today's Locked On Flames episode. Like I mentioned, we will have an episode going up later today or tomorrow morning, depending on how editing goes and all that, with Audie, to talk about last night's ups and downs, and of course, Johnny Gaudreau, baby. This is literally just going to be called Locked On Gaudreau at some point, probably during the off season. But thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode of Locked On Flames. You can find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And of course, make sure you're subscribed and leave a nice little review. I upset some people from Buffalo last week, and they all like kind of spammed me with 1-star reviews. So I'd appreciate it. Thank you all, and I will catch you later with Audie. Bye-bye.